What's up, everybody? This is Sideline Rewind, all things professional cheerleading. We are coming at you with episode number 21.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we're legal. We can do it now.
We're
legal for our La Marca.
That is right.
I love it. This episode will be called These Boots Are Made for Walking. That song was made by Miss Nancy Sinatra. That song came out in January 22nd, 1966.
Wow.
And it was the number one hit in the USA and the UK. And I just want to give this little cute little thing. The song was inspired by a line from 1963 film Four for Texas, in which Frank Sinatra said, "They tell me them boots ain't built for walking."
I love it. I love that song.
But they are.
They are.
They are. And it's funny because this song came to mind. We have a special guest today, and this song came to mind because of how fashion forward Nancy Sinatra was with that video. It's iconic, and you hear her name and you just think, oh, the fashion icon.
Yes, exactly.
And so it seemed very fitting, right?
Yep.
I think we got an icon.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I can't wait. So awesome.
So awesome. So, Anita, what's going on with this contest situation?
Yes, so we have until the Super Bowl to get those entries submitted. You can email us at sidelinerewind@gmail.com or send us a DM on Instagram. And we're basically looking just for you to tell us what is the most interesting or surprising thing you learned about professional cheer in listening to these episodes. And we have just a few more coming out before that drawing. So get those entries submitted now.
And what are they going to win?
Oh, yeah. How could I forget that? Their very own Sideline Rewind engraved Yeti wine tumbler.
Yes.
You can choose your color, white, pink, or blue.
That's right.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
That's so awesome.
So get those things into us. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely right.
Of course.
We're going to have a big winner. That's right.
We got to do that.
The first of many contests.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And you can't do without this La Marca.
The Yeti tumbler.
Right.
You got to have it.
Right. I mean, we joked yesterday, we don't let it ever get to the point where we need it to stay cold, but if we did, it would still be cold.
Absolutely.
Right?
So we got to have that.
And guess what, you guys?
What?
Still, tryouts are on the way.
Come on.
They are on the way.
Let's go.
Coming. It's knocking at the door.
Here and now.
Right? And all of the audition clinics and prep clinics are being advertised. And as we talked to Heather in the episode prior to this for the Titans, she's mentioned everything's starting up and getting ready. And she gave some great advice for tryouts.
Absolutely.
So,
yes, do your due diligence and be prepared.
that's right. Because it is that time.
It is that time. And so make sure you look at all the Instagrams and Facebooks of the squads that you may be interested in. They're having classes and, like Jeanine said, audition classes and prep classes. They've got the dates and the times up there to where it's going to be. So make sure you check those things out. And we'll have some stuff in our Instagram stories too about it.
Of course.
Yep.
So exciting. I can't wait.
Okay, well, listen, I'm all nervous and all this, but we have
We're a little starstruck.
We
Yes.
are. We are definitely starstruck.
Right?
For sure. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, Lord. It's like, it's awesome. I'm like, ooh. Because I just want to say, it's so awesome because when we did all the histories of all the squads, I think I had the one to where I had to pronounce her last name. And I said, I hope I don't butcher this name. But it's so cool that we get all the people we talked about we're getting to talk to and meet.
Right. Dreams do come true.
They really do come true.
Yes.
They really do. So, Anita, who is it?
Okay, ladies, we have an absolute legend with us today, and I don't even know where to begin, but here we go. She is was an original member of the San Francisco 49er Cheerleader Gold Rush at just 17 years of age.
Wow.
What?
Yes, she cheered for 7 years and then moved up to management, directing and coaching the team for 5 years.
Wow.
During her time with the 49ers, she earned not just 1, but 4 Super Bowl rings.
Wow.
I mean, yes.
Okay now.
Okay.
Awesome.
She coordinated the San Diego Charger girls and NBA dance teams for the Los Angeles Clippers, Golden State Warriors, and Sacramento Kings.
Wow.
That's awesome.
She's the founding co-director of the NFL Pro Cheerleaders, coordinating and working with them for 5 years.
Love it.
She was inducted into the Pro Cheerleading Hall of Fame class of 2023 as part of the inaugural group in conjunction with the NFL Alumni Association.
Yay.
She made history in 1996 as the first cheerleader director to coordinate both teams competing in Super Bowl.
Wow.
The San Francisco 49er Gold Rush and the San Diego Charger Girls.
That's
How
so
cool is that?
fun.
Oh my gosh.
So fun.
She introduced NFL-style cheerleading to Japan, produced the first team of professional cheerleaders in Tokyo with USA Cheer Japan. In 1989, she founded the House of AKD, which earned her the Queen of Sports Fashion title.
There it is.
Yes, there she
the
is.
Queen.
She created the first company to design and produce performance wear in the NFL, NBA, and other professional sports cheer and dance teams.
Yes, ma'am.
To this day, she remains the go-to designer and brand development expert for professional sports cheerleaders and their organizations, working globally in the U.S., Japan, Canada, Europe, and Mexico.
Around the world.
Around the world.
This is a real deal.
It is.
I mean, we're not done. Her costuming, TV, and film credits includes hit shows such as Hit the Floor, All American, Warner Brothers Productions and Films with Will Smith and Steve Martin.
Come on now.
Yes. As an innovator in cheer and dance wear, she's one of 3 designers to develop the first cheer dance shoe for the cheer industry, produced by Capezio Ballet Makers and sold by Varsity Sales.
Awesome.
She was also the first in the industry to develop an adhesive to apply rhinestones to performance wear that allowed for stretch and movement. Oh my gosh. Which is amazing.
Amazing.
Right.
She was awarded Sports Fashion Pioneer of the Year by Lux Magazine in 2022. The author of The Business of Professional Cheerleading is the only resource of its kind for coaches to provide invaluable insights and practical advice. She also wrote the foreword for the best-selling book In a League of Her Own, celebrating female firsts in sports. How about that?
Love
Go
that.
Yes.
Yes.
As a professional dancer, she has performed with renowned artists such as Paula Abdul, Terry Hatcher, the Pointer Sisters, the Beach Boys, and Patrick Swayze in the film Roadhouse.
Love it.
With Kenny Ortega Dancer for film and TV work. In national commercials, filming for McDonald's and other major brands. On USO celebrity tours, touring the world, bringing entertainment to military personnel.
We love that.
In TV and podcast appearances as a spokesperson for professional cheerleading on shows like Entertainment Tonight, Extra, and other nationally televised talk shows, as well as guests on podcasts discussing the pro cheer industry. Ladies, it is with great honor to introduce one of the greatest influences in the industry, Miss Angela King.
Yay!
Welcome.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Thank you
And
so
that's
much.
not all.
All
I
right.
could have kept going,
You're
honestly.
absolutely right. Those are just the highlights.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. You are
So
an
exciting.
icon for sure. We're
Yes.
so excited.
Oh my gosh. Well, what a pleasure. I am honored to be on your show. Listen, you guys celebrating history of this industry the way that you do. I mean, I'm just so honored to be able to be here to share it. Like, I kind of know where the bones are buried, if you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. So you started out at 17?
That's correct.
And
Yep,
where are you from originally?
I am from Central Valley, California.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
So not too far from San Francisco, which is why, Northern Cal. Yeah, that's why the
you.
49ers. Yeah.
Right. Awesome.
So were you a cheerleader in high school and just
I was a song leader, on the West Coast, song leading is what they called it back then. Yeah. The cheerleaders or the dancers with pom-poms, song leaders.
song leaders?
And that was a relatively new term back then that was kind of brought about by the United Spirit Association and the Olmsted family, who really initiated a whole lot of history in the cheerleading and sports entertainment with all of they did all the they had the camps, United Spirit Association
That's right.
cheer and song
Right.
camps. Robert Olmsted founded that company, but he was a baton twirler.
Wow.
And
Okay.
Yes, and he was good. And he and Herky, because I think Herky used to twirl the baton, like that was their connection. I mean, it goes way, way back.
Oh my
Baton
gosh.
twirling kind of started it.
Yes.
And the Olmsteads, Robert Olmsted, before there were even cheerleaders at the 49ers, he had majorettes. So they were the first majorettes in the NFL.
Wow.
Way back.
So cool.
The foresight the Olmsted family had, who was then after Robert retired, his son Michael Olmsted took over. It was Olmsted Productions for a long time, but now it's E2K. But Michael, he carried on his father's legacy and brought in the 49er Gold Rush, which was bringing in basically song leaders.
Got you.
Right.
So the first team of 49er cheerleaders were handpicked. There was not auditions.
Wow.
They there were a little bit, San Francisco was a little bit of a temperament at the time as far as women's rights and those sorts of things. So they knew to bring in a group of cheerleaders, they were going to have to do it the right way. They were going to have to educate us. We were going to have to be strong dancers to prove our point, right?
Yes.
And so that's how the first team came along. They handpicked Mike Olmsted, Lori Ryan, who's an institution in herself in the cheerleading industry. Talk about history.
Wow.
Lori, they put together this group, and there was only 14 of us. And they handpicked dancers, and the rest is history.
I love it.
I love
do
that.
too. What? That's
That's
a great
a fun
history.
fact.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
I mean, this is what's so incredible. I think we've said many times on our podcast that it's really difficult to find information, and you can't just search it. Like those little tidbits of gold,
Right.
we would have never known if not having you on. And so we love hearing from you about
Yes.
all those
Absolutely.
things.
I'll never forget Entertainment Tonight followed us on that first, because it was such a big deal in San
Right.
Francisco. And no one was sure what was going to happen. I mean, we could have gone out there and they could have hated it and we would have been gone.
Right.
And so Entertainment Tonight followed us through the whole thing.
Wow.
And then they went to the crowd and they started asking, what do you think? What do you think? And the people in the crowd, we love them.
Aw.
There's a segment of this lady and she's all dressed in her 49er gear. And she goes, I love them. They bring a spunk and spirit to the team.
I love it.
They sure do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the next morning, we were on the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle, a big picture
wow.
like this.
Awesome.
That is
Yeah.
great.
And from there, it was history. Everyone loved it, and the Gold Rush was born.
That's an incredible story.
What
It
year was
is.
that? Was that 83?
1983.
Wow.
Okay,
That is
Rhonda, with your
awesome.
facts.
Well, I'm going to ask this and then
You go, girl.
I want to ask this. Were you there when the famous catch and Dwight Clark?
That was the year before.
Okay.
So that was the 1982 season. But
Okay.
yeah. And that's kind of what, they got all the hype going about San Francisco and the 49ers and wanting to
Yes.
that was just that lit a fire.
It was a
under the whole
catalyst.
community.
Yes.
So I think that probably had a big part in them wanting to create a team.
I love it.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think I want to hear just a little bit about your process when you're designing the uniforms for different teams, because I know a ton goes into that, and how you go about that whole process.
Well, and thank you for asking, because a lot of people just know they show up that way.
Right.
So there's the whole process. And with different teams, it can be a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, a team, I'll have a talk with the team, and a lot of them we've been working with for years. So I kind of know where they've been, where they want to go. But that's the big question is, where are you now?
Mm-hmm.
What is it you're trying to do? Some teams are changing branding. Maybe it's a new stadium. Maybe it's a new logo initiation.
Yes.
So there's a lot of reasons why someone is redeveloping, redesigning, or tweaking a uniform. So all of those things become a big, big deal in the talks, because marketing department has a story they want to tell.
Yes.
I have to make sure it goes through to be able to put on a body to perform.
Right.
People that aren't dancers or haven't been in the cheer industry, they just know what the vision is in their head. So it's up to me to bridge the gap between a vision and a story, and what can actually be used, what can actually be performed in, and what level do they perform at. Are they a stunt and tumble team? Are they a dance team?
Right.
All of that goes into the functionality of a uniform. So there's a whole lot of work that go on the backside that goes into that development.
Okay.
And then once I know that from the team, once we've met, and sometimes we'll start a year and a half out if it's a big change, if it's big development, if it's a new stadium in particular.
Right.
I'll be working along with them to develop, because Nike or whatever their supplier for the players' uniforms, they've already got their thing going. So then I have to come in, take what they've got going with Nike or their supplier and bring that over to the other side. So then I'll take it to my office and I will hang every single uniform in the NFL in front of me.
Wow.
Because my goal is not to duplicate a uniform.
Right, exactly.
Everybody needs their own identity. Everybody needs to feel special and unique. And that's something I can say I pride myself in huge over all these years in the industry. And because I was a cheerleader, I know how I wanted to feel. I know I wanted to feel beautiful and different in my uniform. And I didn't want to be in just a different color switch from the other team over there that's got the same design, different color.
Right, exactly.
So, that's why, you can kind of see in the showroom, but like the different uniforms here.
Right.
The skirts are different. The tops are different. There might be some elements that transfer. People always like a little decoration center chest or whatever.
Sure.
But it's very, very important to me to hang all of those uniforms up when we're in development and understand how can this team I'm working with have their own identity
right
in the NFL. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that because you were a dancer, because you were a coach, because you did all of these things, you have such a better understanding than just like you were saying, the average company that's going to do the same uniform in 10 different colors and create that muffin top in the middle that we had to wear, unfortunately, because we were new at the time. And I can remember we had nicknames for all our uniforms because pretty much none of them were flattering at the time.
Yeah.
Of the things that we wore. And so it's so great that that you're out there and they have these resources of somebody that really gets it and knows what you're talking about. So that's awesome.
Well, and I think that's incredible that people don't realize, like, you're not only working with just the cheer coach and getting to, putting to life what their vision is, but you have to be involved with the whole team and the marketing. And I think that's what people don't realize. That is just huge.
Right.
Well, and that's something that I push for too, because it doesn't do anybody any good just to wear that little thing that didn't, there's time and development. And that's what makes, just the uniforms that are back here. You can kind of see.
Right.
Yes.
They're iconic, but they're iconic because there was a whole lot of time and thought and development put into them. It didn't happen overnight.
Process.
And some of these might have gone through 2 or 3 renditions of a prototype. And how can we make it better? One of the things that I always like to do, and it's kind of a silent signature, I think, for me.
Detail.
is that I always like things on the wrist.
Yes.
And that's a detail nobody thinks about. You don't always see it when you've got a pom-pom on your hand. But what's beautiful is when those team members are signing autographs, they can look down and they've got something pretty or a detail here.
Sure.
And they're signing.
That's so smart.
That is so good.
It's something that makes
Just
it a
details.
little,
Details matter. That is such a life lesson in general. Like, I feel like
absolutely.
details, people. Details make you successful.
Absolutely.
It is just how it is.
And it sets you apart.
I
Most
so
definitely.
much appreciate that you see those details. And I'm sure you've made hundreds of thousands of different uniforms and costumes over your career, but is there one in particular that maybe is super special to you or stands out in your mind you're super proud of?
You're right. There is many.
Yeah.
And it always seems to be the one that's in front of me.
Right.
Because they're all different, it's not like there's a bunch that are the same and there's the one that's different.
Correct.
So that's my favorite.
Yes.
It's like it's the one that's in front of me at the time. And I'm like, oh, I love that little detail. I love on the Titans that you've got from your state flag, the 3 stars, like
Yes.
those little details. And I'm like, I love that about that. Then, you go to the Broncos and you're like, oh my gosh, that's leather with a foundation base that we created. And God, what a work of art that is.
It is.
Absolutely.
Kind of go down the way. And every single one of them, some of the ones that we did, back when the XFL was in, those were Jay Howarth started the XFL cheerleaders, and all of their uniforms. She really kind of was a brainchild in what that would be. And each one of those were a creative development that was different. So when I think about those were some of my favorites, like all of them. Like I just enjoy this world so much, this industry, and I just appreciate every single one of whatever anybody's wearing at the time. Like, I just appreciate it.
Well, when you go to a game or see a game on TV and you see something maybe that you didn't design, do you kind of look and go, well, they could have fixed that a little bit better? Or I'm sure you do. We all do. I mean, because you're passionate about it.
Yeah. And I do. And I do that with my stuff too.
Sure.
And sometimes that's why it's a really good idea that I go and see a game or watch them perform, because there might be something demographic. There might be something. I have gone to indoor stadiums versus outdoor stadiums.
Wow.
And sitting in there and watching the way that the lights in an indoor stadium will reflect on the stones that we used on that uniform.
Yes.
And we have I remember one year, and this was with the St. Louis Rams when they were in St. Louis and they were in their dome. And I'm like, give me them. Those stones got to go.
Yeah. They gotta
change all those stones, because those stones are reflecting green under those.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Wow.
Totally. That totally makes sense. Yes.
Yes. So it's little things like that. You always have to you can. I don't.
Right.
You can't just expect to send the uniform out the door and then not ever follow up or look online and see how are they photographing?
Right.
That's true.
On their social media, what's the thing? And then if I see some photos where it's the same thing and photo after photo after photo, then I'm
on the phone.
So let's talk about something.
Right.
How can we make this better? What's happening here? Is this just because of these? Are you noticing it? So I keep a follow up. If I was in this business to make money, I'd be doing things a whole lot different.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
I'd be producing uniforms like this. They'd be in the same colors,
Same uniform,
pattern,
different colors. Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. So this is a passion. This is an industry I care about because it built me.
You can tell, honey.
Absolutely can tell.
Because I was getting ready to ask you where your inspiration comes from, because honey, all of this that she just read, and then it's like, ooh, you are tired. But it's like, you gotta be. It's just but it's a passion that's driving you. What inspires you? Like, to keep going and to keep pushing, and the attention to detail, because that does set you apart from everybody.
Yes.
But I can just, when you're talking about it, it's like you're so excited about it. I think people need to understand that.
That's right.
It's the passion and the inspiration. Like, where does that come from?
It's never seemed like work to me. And I have been in this industry, I've had this business 34 years going on 35, and it's every day new. Now, I'm not to say that there aren't challenges and there aren't days that are down days, because there are.
Yes.
And when you read all those things that I've been able to accomplish in all of those years, it makes it seem vibrant and easy. Like, here I am. I did all these things.
Right.
But there's so much work that went in behind it.
Absolutely.
But when you're working in your passion, those things come.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
You don't go looking for them. You don't go asking for them. They come. And when they hit you, it's humbling in the way that, oh, wow, really?
Yes.
I didn't mean for that, or I wasn't trying,
Right.
But to know that it's appreciated by other people is huge. I was just at an event in New York with Bob Mackey, who is one of my,
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing designer.
And yeah. And so, when he was talking about some stuff and he basically said that. He goes, when you show up every day, you work every day, you put your passion into everything every day. You don't stand around wondering where the spotlight's at.
Right.
And,
Yes.
and I'm like, that's so true, Bob. That's exactly how it is. He's as humble as he can be. And he's Bob
A legend,
Matthew, for
of course.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And so, I feel the same way. I'm fortunate to be all the things that you read. I'm, it's almost like it's weird to have the attention because I'm used to being behind the scenes. I'm used to working with other people and helping other people and making sure everybody else looks good. I mean, that's my job.
Yes.
That's what I love doing.
Right.
And you do it very well.
And you can
Or
tell you love it.
everything
You
looks
can
good.
tell.
Yeah.
You can so tell. That is, you can tell. That
What I
love
think
it.
you touched on something we talked about with several of our guests is putting yourself out there and having your eyes open for those opportunities to present themselves. And, one of the things I think younger generations don't utilize as much is that power of connection and networking. I mean, a lot of the connection I think people think are through a screen. And just being around legends like Bob Mackie, like Angela, like all of that matters. And those are the things that present those opportunities.
It's true. There's always something. And I have actually, I've stressed this to my kids. Because my dad taught me this. He's told me to never turn down an opportunity. You don't have to do it again. You don't have to do it for long.
No, that's great.
But you take the opportunity. Because who knows what could happen. And the truth is, in every conversation, you learn and you grow. And it may not be a good conversation. Maybe it's something you're having to sort out. Maybe it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
But you learn from it every single time. So always, always take the opportunity. Whatever that is, walk through the door.
Right.
That's a great piece of
Listen,
influential
everybody.
advice.
That is.
Honey, she just dropped the jewel, honey.
Yes, she did.
She just dropped it.
That's
Most
true.
definitely.
So, auditions, trying out for teams. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times before you make the team. But I'll tell you what, you're better that third time than you were the first time because you learned something.
That's right.
There
Absolutely.
was somebody in that room that you saw and you went, I want to do that.
Right.
That
Absolutely.
girl understands it. I'm going to remember that. And you carried it with you.
Yes.
And then you made the team, right?
Yes.
It's building blocks.
Absolutely.
Honey.
Absolutely.
One of the questions I always ask guests, we have on episode 5, I believe it was, we discussed all the teams that either no longer have cheerleaders or never had cheerleaders. And what would you say to the organization itself to try to help convince them to bring those cheerleaders back?
Cheerleaders are such brand ambassadors to the community. They represent that team. The players can't be everywhere. They can't be at every charity event. They can't be signing autographs, but guess who can?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so if that cheerleading team is branded to tell the story of your organization in a way that you can put them out to the public. I mean, we're talking about talented dancers here.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
Absolutely.
There's so much more to them than shaking hands and signing autographs out with the public. These women work hard. They're dancers and they're probably got full-time careers too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there's no more joy in their heart than representing the team that they work for, being out in the public and meeting people.
Yes.
So, and a lot of the teams have their territories, and a lot of those territories, some of them are in China, they're in Mexico,
Right.
they're in other pockets.
Yes.
And those communities hold cheerleaders with the highest regard. So
Yes,
when
they
you're
do.
talking about team merchandise sales,
Yes.
things like that, these are your best brand ambassadors.
100%.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I agree.
And I think that's one of the things we wanted to do also with the podcast is making people realize, just like with your design, I didn't just throw this together. You need to understand the process and all the hard work and dedication that goes in behind the scenes. Same thing with the girls on the field.
Right.
They do have full-time jobs. They practice countless hours per week to get out there. They didn't just come out and start tumbling and twirling on the field, and people have no idea what goes into it. And we love showcasing that.
Yes.
Well, and that's why I'm such a fan of your podcast, because you're really you're standing on the shoulders of giants. All of these women who have come along and built this and built this and built. I mean, I can tell you from 1983, being on that first team of cheerleaders, we were building every day trying to just get it done.
Yes.
And to see where it's become now, and there's photos everywhere, that the social media has really helped that to blossom. I mean, it's rewarding. It's
Yes.
absolutely rewarding. But being on a team also opens up opportunities for these women that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Very true.
Maybe they're sitting at a table at dinner with people having a conversation they wouldn't have been at.
Yes,
And now a
ma'am.
door
Right.
has opened.
Right.
They have also learned how to present themselves professionally,
Right.
Yes.
whether in and out of uniform. How do you
So
walk into
true.
the room? How do you address other people?
Yes.
How do you have an executive conversation with an executive?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a growing process for the women who make these teams. And then when their time is gone and they're not on the team any longer, to be able to mentor forward, or the alumni groups that exist now. It's also important to this whole story and industry that we were a part of. And look at where you three are now. I mean,
Who thought we would
Thank
be
you.
here, but we
Right.
love every second of it, I can
Absolutely.
tell you.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, your podcast has exploded.
Oh, well,
thank
well,
you.
That means
so
a lot
much.
coming
And
from
thank you for being
We're
a
just-
huge supporter of ours and a show supporter. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Most
Oh,
definitely.
you know I support. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Thank you so much.
I believe in you
Go ahead.
guys.
Go.
I had a question
No, go.
for you in regards to, we've been talking about tryouts coming up. So what advice, since you have such an extensive background as not only a cheerleader, but a coach, a director, a choreographer, a uniform designer, what would your advice be for someone that's going to try out first round, whether it's a video submission or whatever, that first day or going in? What would your advice be as far as what they need to prepare, what they need to wear, things like that?
Oh,
Listen.
I got a ton.
Okay.
But I'm going to start with, you can look really good, and my company can help you look good. Like, we've got Audition Wear, a whole separate thing where you can go on and pick your
Oh, that's
design and all that
great.
kind
We
of
need
stuff.
to
You can
advertise
look
that.
really
Yeah,
good.
we will.
But if you do not prepare your interview and how personable you are,
Mm-hmm.
you can look the best in the room. You can be the best dancer in the room.
Right.
And if you cannot interview, hold a conversation, or have any intelligence about sports, forget it.
Right.
I love
Yeah.
it.
So a lot of the women trying out these days, they're going to the prep classes, which is important because you do have to dance too. Don't
Sure.
get me wrong.
Yes.
Sure.
And the level of dance has become more and more every single year. So yes, you have to meet the choreography requirements to make that team. So the prep classes are important. But there's a whole different other level of classes that you need to be, I don't know if it's classes, it can be classes,
Mm-hmm.
where you're working on how do you introduce yourself? What is important to you? Philanthropy.
Right.
What do you know about the team that you are auditioning for?
Correct.
That's great advice.
Know the quarterback.
Right.
Yes.
Know what their season was
Right.
last year and the year before, and when was the last time maybe they went into the playoffs or the Super. Those sorts of things, because when you get down to everybody is a good dancer,
Right.
when everybody can do that choreography and everyone's got good showmanship, what do you think they're going to be looking at next when they select the members of that team? The
Absolutely.
ones
right.
that they can send to the community
Yes.
Absolutely.
that can be a brand ambassador, represent them professionally in or out of uniform. Maybe
Yes.
they're sending you in business attire.
That's true.
That's right.
And you have to be able to be dynamic in your speaking and personable and approachable.
Right.
Okay.
That's what these teams are looking for. They're looking for the whole thing, because
The whole
being a
package.
good dancer these days is just not
It's not gonna be-
enough.
I love
There
that.
are tons of good dancers. I mean,
Correct.
watching all the teams that are out there now, like they're all good.
Right.
And all the people that they've cut over the past couple
That's
years
right.
were good as well. And
But,
so
yeah.
you're so
That's
correct in
kind of
saying
how
that.
we were talking with Heather yesterday from the Titans.
That's right.
And she was saying, follow directions. Follow the directions that we are giving you. Like it's funny because so many people, they just skip over it. Don't really read what's the
required.
instructions were given. She's like, we can't really work with you if you can't follow the directions we were giving you.
Right.
Because a lot of people think dance is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's
Well,
not.
Yeah.
I think if you need to, okay, I'm going to say this to our listeners. If you need to, you may need to rewind that.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right.
If that's a rewind, that's a rewind, and you need to rewind it back to listen to what she just said.
Yes, she has
because that
Absolutely.
is so important, right?
Incredible gems.
Absolutely.
She's
And also the
honey.
fact that she's got great audition wear from her company.
Yeah,
that
we need to
get
link that in our
promote.
show
We
notes
will
for
link
sure.
that.
Oh, yeah, do. Because you can go on and select whatever design that you want, and then you can pick your colors.
Great.
Perfect.
I love it.
So if you really like this, or you want to be that, or whatever, you can go on and do that on. Yeah.
I just think that's so important to put the time. Like if we're going to do all the homework and put all the time everywhere else, that's the first thing somebody sees when you walk in the audition room is how you're
Exactly.
presenting yourself. And if it's not top notch, then you're already considered not at the top. And let's face it, we all want to be at the top.
Yes.
I mean, I do.
And in your photographs too, when you have to send in your
Absolutely.
photograph, what your outfit too.
Correct. And having some nice photos. I mean, they don't have to be professional if you don't have access to that, but it doesn't need to be a car selfie.
That's so true.
Right.
Right.
And if it does, you better be wearing something cute.
You better work it, girl. That's right.
You know, they have all these features like blurring out the background and everything. So there's really no excuse for not having a great photo in this day and
Absolutely.
age.
Absolutely right.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
That's such great information.
It really is.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we always ask our people, our guests, what has been your, and you may have a lot, but what has been your favorite rewind or your favorite memory from cheering? And then I guess you can ask too, what in the business, like what's been your favorite, most favorable rewind or memory?
So in Super Bowl,
Uh-huh.
1984 season, 85 year Super Bowl,
Uh-huh.
there was an earthquake in San Francisco, and it shook Candlestick Park,
Wow.
and to the point where it wasn't safe. And the Super Bowl was supposed to be
Oh, wow.
at Candlestick Park that year.
Wow.
Oh,
So they-
wow.
They moved the Super Bowl to Stanford Stadium.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, and this was all happened within months that they had to pick this game up, move it to Stanford,
Sure.
moved it to Stanford. And we were a new team back then. We were only on our second year, I think, yes, of existence. And Paula Abdul was our choreographer.
So cool.
And
So
we
iconic.
had this kick-ass routine.
Yes. I know you did, girl. I wanna see that.
Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan.
Yes.
One of them. And Freakazoid. So anywho,
I love
there
that.
you go.
Oh my
But,
God.
so we played the Miami Dolphins,
Yes.
and the Miami Dolphins girls, they were all super tall, and we were all we were in our tennis shoes in our outfit.
Girl,
We can relate.
relate.
And they were in their leggings and their big boots, and they were
Glamorous.
sponsored by Burger King.
Yes.
So we were all very nervous, and we were very intimidated by them because
Sure.
they were beautiful and they were tall and they were
Sure.
all the things. And the 14 or whatever there was of us go walking down the tunnel area because we're going to perform at pregame. So here we go, walking in our tennis shoes, and one of the girls looked at one of our girls, and we were all standing right there,
Uh-huh.
and she said, "Oh, you guys are so cute."
Oh.
And and that's when the fight broke out.
That's another story.
No, that's a whole nother story. But we all went, no, she didn't.
We're about to show you.
No, she didn't. And we went out there and killed it.
Yes.
Well, of course, it was mostly San Francisco fans because it was at Stanford. But
Right.
But
Right.
still,
the audience roared. People stood up. They were so proud of us.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I'll
love
never
that
forget it.
story.
And I've got some of it's on video somewhere. I mean, I've got some amazing video of that crowd, of that happening.
Yeah.
And because Miami, I think, performed before us. I can't remember. But the minute we're like, Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, and the crowd just went wild. Yeah.
I love that. That is
Yeah.
a good one.
That's
That's
a
really
great
Hall of
story.
Fame rewinds right there.
absolutely. And if you got that footage, please send that
Yes,
to
I
us.
want to see.
I'll have to find it. Girls, I've got footage.
Well, if you got
You
You
can
sent
share whatever you'd like to share, and we would
Absolutely.
be honored to post it and
That's right.
share with all our followers.
Absolutely.
I will. I got to find it all. But yeah,
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
That's a great one. Oh my gosh, y'all.
I just felt like I was
You're
there.
so cute.
And
So
we so
cute.
relate because we were at the Super Bowl as well together, and we also had on tennis shoes, but they were not cute tennis shoes. Even they were like the walkers, like the big white leather walker shoes.
They weren't cute or comfortable.
And so
And
we
you-
totally just related with you on
Yes.
so many levels.
And St. Louis Rams cheerleaders,
they were
just-
glamorous. They had
they were
boobs.
glamorous.
Oh,
and
yeah, the
boots
Rams
and
are
honey, they
glamorous. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and then here we are. There was an ice storm, and we were all like drowned
Drowned
rats
rats.
walking in, and
Oh no.
our bus broke down. And
Yes.
What year was that?
99, 2000. The first year the
Okay.
Titans were
in
here.
Nashville,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was St. Louis Rams. That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
So we can relate to that story, and it's a great story. That may be top. That may be the
Yes.
top one so
That's
far.
right.
Tell us a little bit about what it was like having the two different teams you were coordinating in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was difficult. Only
would
because
imagine.
you never think that's going to happen,
Right.
and there was a respect between both teams, the cheerleaders on both teams.
Mhm.
You know, for the amount of time, because they were being produced by Olmsted Productions. You know, I was directing and coordinating 49ers, but only coordinating San Diego. They had their own director.
Okay.
Got it.
And so, yeah. And so it was difficult when we were actually it was in Miami. The Super Bowl was in Miami that year. And it was difficult, the back and forth and having to kind of manage two teams. But there was a director that was with them hands-on
Got
Mhm.
you.
while I was kind of hands-on too. Yeah.
Oh my
Wow. That
gosh.
sounds very
amazing.
complicated, but fun and
Because
exciting.
we know firsthand too how chaotic the Super Bowl can be, just
Right.
with all the media, and you can't even see the game. You can't see anything. You can't really move, but it is an
Yeah.
unforgettable
a lot
experience,
to coordinate,
right?
for sure.
And it's all the things that lead up to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Up into that moment, because it's events, it's parties, it's appearances after appearances.
Right.
And you don't stop. I mean, I can remember not even feeling like I slept. And I remember, your cheeks hurt.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Smiling.
You were just smiling all the time. You're like, ow, ow.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
Oh
Very
my
true.
Oh my gosh. We may need to do these boots were made for Walkin too.
Part 2.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like we could talk to you all day.
Anytime.
Oh my gosh.
It's been so awesome.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
And then let's just talk about the Boston reunion. It
Yes.
was so nice to meet you. I mean, it was so nice. You were all
Well,
decked
what
out in your
what
49ers things.
Oh,
Did you design those too?
no, no.
Okay.
She's like, I
Those
did-
we found at last minute. We got those. Now my company is doing some stuff that's related
Similar, mhm.
in that direction. Yeah. So,
Oh,
for the
good.
next
We might need to hit her up
one.
when we go.
Yes.
Miami 2026.
Yes. We need some.
The
you go.
Titans
Yeah.
might,
Yes.
Yeah.
alumni might hit you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Come with your ideas and we'll do them. But No, that group is so powerful.
I
The
totally
alumni
agree.
group.
Yes.
I totally agree. That was my first time going. I had intended to go to Jacksonville, and I didn't realize it sells out. And so I got on to buy my ticket, and I'm like, what do you mean there's no tickets left? And so I made sure for Boston that I got mine right away. And so I'm super excited for Miami.
Yeah, it's such a rekindling and getting to, when we were cheerleaders, you didn't really get to mingle with the other cheerleaders.
That's right.
They get to do it now a tiny bit because they've got the foreign tours that go, and they'll take some girls go.
Right.
But in terms of really getting to know, unless you're the 49ers and the Rams, or the Rams and the Raiders, and you might know people.
Right.
You don't get that experience. So that's what's so special about this alumni group is you have your girls, but then you're able to like meet and other people and share the memory. Oh, we were there at the same time.
Sure.
We were so nice.
Yeah.
They did an incredible job in Boston, and every detail was just top notch. So, and we had a blast. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, Miami's going to be good too.
It's
I sit on their board. I sit on the
right.
Yeah, and Miami's got it going. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all. I mean, that's another whole topic, but the board does an incredible job with keeping that whole NFL alumni organization in check.
Terry Lamb and Mickey Crawford, they're the brainchild of the thing, and they do an amazing job. I mean, I'm just there for support. I'm just there to say, I think that's a good idea,
Right.
But those two really make it happen.
Very good.
Very
That's awesome.
good.
Oh my gosh. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Angela. We really appreciate you. And I really do mean a part 2.
Yes. We're not kidding.
Because we could talk to you all
I'm
day.
there anytime I can share. And also it doesn't have to be stuff about me. I mean, the things that I know in this industry that came from other people.
Right.
On the West Coast for the 49ers and for the Chargers, Robert Olmsted and Michael Olmsted and Olmsted Productions. I mean, they really built that entertainment out there and initiated things like having the first majorettes in the NFL.
Yes,
That's amazing.
That's important to know.
I'm so glad to see that that's not a dying art and that things are coming back.
Me too.
Yes.
I've got kids in college now. And
I can't tell.
Are any of them interested in following your footsteps at all?
they have all gone in different directions.
Okay,
So the first two are boys.
Uh-huh.
So my oldest is a graduate of Baylor, and he's got his job doing his thing.
Great.
My second is an athlete. He's at University of Nebraska.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Wow.
So he's way up there.
Yeah.
Yes, honey.
And so he's doing his athlete thing. Then my next is my daughter, Ava, and she's at Baylor. She's on their water ski team. And she's a pageant girl.
Okay.
Awesome.
Then my next one, she is a singer. She's got a record label, songs on the radio kind of stuff. But
Nice.
yeah. Elle Brightly is if you look, it's on all of the platforms or whatever. Elle Brightly, yeah.
Love that.
But she's a freshman at Alabama.
Okay.
Roll Tide.
So girls, you want to talk about all of a sudden we went from Baylor, Nebraska, Alabama.
Yes, exactly.
They got big real quick, but they have the Crimsonettes
Okay.
at Alabama. The baton
Right.
twirlers.
Yes.
There's a ton of them. I don't know how many there are. You want to talk about fangirling. I'm like, when there's a parade, I'm like, I gotta see.
So awesome.
I love
My
it.
husband was so excited. He was like, let me get a picture of you watching them.
Yeah.
I love them so much.
I love it.
I'm so glad that baton twirling is not a dying art, all the
Agreed.
way back from Robert Olmsted teaching the camps to teach girls to twirl and the competitions. And, it's something people don't think about till they show up and go, wow, she just twirled fire. you know?
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's amazing. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Very cool. Yes, we'd love to do another one when we just touch on all those other topics that we didn't get to
Sure.
today. So
Yeah.
Let's do
Make-A-List will do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. I just love your passion, and I just
Very inspiring.
Yes.
Yes.
Just inspired. Just, oh, goodness.
Well, you know what? God gave me all of this. He laid it out for me at times when I didn't know my direction.
Right.
He laid a plan. And he would not have done that for me if I wasn't going to share it and motivate and provide opportunities for other people. I wouldn't be here. If it was a selfish motive, God wouldn't have had it for me.
Very
Right.
touching.
Oh, that is very touching.
I love it.
And that's why we're here. That's why we're doing the podcast.
I know it. I know you
That's
are.
exactly why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
you just said. Oh, I can't cry.
Oh, she's gonna cry again.
We all might cry.
She's either crying or laughing. It's usually
I
crying,
know. That's so
Making a
powerful.
difference.
but in a good
You're
way.
making a
Crying.
difference.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Angela, so much.
Oh my gosh. Woo, honey, we're gonna have to.
We do have to wrap it up. We don't
Yes,
want to
we've
wrap it
got-
up.
We
but
don't
do-
want to, but we are going to do a part 2.
We
That's
got to
right.
do a part 2.
Well, what
but
else
if
do we have, Rhonda?
you're gonna need to rewind everything
Yes.
we just did because she dropped some
Absolutely
great
right.
jewels. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to send us your favorite rewinds.
Uh-huh. We wanna
We
hear
will
'em.
post them. We will talk about them. Send us your pictures and your videos. We want to hear from you, alumni.
Yes, we got the alumni meeting tonight, actually, for the Titans. So get in on that call. If you need information, just reach out and I'll send it to you. And we've got some great things planned, getting ourselves prepared for that Miami trip. But we've got a weekend event in July. We've got a luncheon in April, a wine night, happy
Great.
hour next
Awesome.
month. So
Yes.
get in touch with everyone in the alumni organization, wherever you are, and everyone can prepare for Miami. We want all our sisters there.
That's right.
We do.
and brothers.
And you guys are not going to believe all the special guests we have coming up soon. So
Oh,
just hang in
yeah,
there. If you
that's
thought this
right.
was good, we got more coming, and just so excited and honored, humbled, all of the things at the
Yes,
All
same
of those
time.
I'm
things.
just like so overwhelmed, but in a great way.
Yes.
And just happy to be on
Yeah.
this journey, and,
And
we're
it's-
doing what we started out saying we were doing. We're doing it,
and we're experiencing, like she said, those jaws hurting from smiling with
Right.
all the fun we're having doing it.
Yes.
So
That's right.
So we want to thank Miss Angela again for being here. We just honored, and we hope to see you again soon and reach out to you again. Thank you to all the followers, the supporters, our sponsors. Thank you for everybody that has sent in a rewind. We thank you for that. But keep those things coming. Keep downloading the podcast.
Yes.
Keep following us on Instagram and friending us on Facebook. We are out there. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode number 21. These boots are made for walking.
Yes, they
Yes,
are,
they
honey.
are.
Woo! And we're out.